What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify. All the major sports are in action this week with the college football playoffs ready to kick off. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get into the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. Sooner state of mind family. How we feeling? We in a good mood? I know I am. It's almost Christmas time, but the big man in red has delivered a couple presents early. I love Christmas presents. And they are even better than anything that was on my Christmas list. Well, not everything, but a lot. There's still a chance to buy me presents if you like. We can get into that later. But the first delivery came last week when Sooner Nation found out that Billy Bowman would be returning for his senior season. And I don't think there was a more impactful Sooner on that defense the last month of the season. He kept showing up at the biggest moments. One more season and he gets to shine on the biggest stage. There are so many levels to how important Bowman is to this team. And to me, there could not have been another player on this defense that is as important to this team. There is one that might be pretty damn close and might be more important as the player that is the heartbeat of this defense. And you know who I am talking about. None other than Danny Stutsman. Oh, yeah. And Stutz made his announcement in the most Stutzman way possible. And even though several news outlets announced that he was leaving, we never heard that from Stutzman or any of his people. And then on Monday morning, we got the videographical and cinematic eye candy brilliance confirmation that Stutz would be returning. A highly produced hype video, which immediately produced mass levels of hype. Fun fact, Danny Stutsman destroyed the periodic table because he only recognizes the element of surprise. Sooner Nation, rejoice, my brothers and sisters. These announcements are even further confirmation that the builders want to continue the build. Something special is happening here, and these two people and players want to continue to be part of that build. And I don't care if part of the reason was their draft grades weren't as high as they would like. They both still had the opportunity to go right into the NFL, and they chose to stay and be Oklahoma Sooners, and that means something. You know, you only get to play college ball once. And even though you're a Sooner for life, once you go, you gone, baby. These boys wanted to wear that crimson and cream for one more season, maybe the most important season for these Sooners. They wanted to be part of the inaugural run in the SEC. That mattered to these guys. You cannot put a price on that. And since those boys are coming back, I really could not be more stoked. And that's saying something because my tolerance for stoke is really, really high. And with levels of stoke peaking even in the off season, I still found a large amount of stoke for a former Sooner. Talking about Dillon Gabriel. We knew he was entering the transfer portal, but we did not know where he would be going. But we do now. Dillon Gabriel will be taking his talents to Eugene, Oregon, and finishing his collegiate career as an Oregon Duck. Pretty cool story on multiple levels, but DG will be wearing number 8 for the Ducks. That's the same number Marcus Mariota wore when he was with Oregon. Mariota, a childhood hero for DG. Full circle moment, baby. So this is very cool for Gabriel. And you know what? I know Sooner fan never forgets and is capable of holding a grudge for even longer than is necessary. I'm not mad at that. I appreciate it. But with the Dillon Gabriel news, personally, I feel like I finally have some closure for that erroneous onside kick call. It wasn't Oregon's fault. It was the crap ass Pac 12 officials. Do I still get a little aggro when I see the replay? Absolutely. But I will always root for Dillon Gabriel. And I don't think for a moment he was ever considering USC. But now that that has been confirmed, my enemy's enemy is my ally, or whatever the hell that saying is. Either way, I have another team to root for while rooting against Tebow and those dirty Trojans. DG will always be a very beloved Sooner to me, and I think for a lot of Sooner Nation. He came in when we needed him most, and he carried himself the right way on and off the field, and is even a better and more tremendous person than he is a player. Came down and smacked those horns, giving the Sooners the 34-30 win. Oh, baby, so sweet. So he will always have emotional equity. He will always be a Sooner. Ohana forever. Little more portal talk. I don't remember all the names we listed last time we met, but I know there are a couple more additions to the list. So I'm just going to give the list again. DJ Graham, Jason Llewellyn, Tawi Walker, DG, Nate Anderson, Reggie Grimes, Key Lawrence, Savion Bird, Marcus Major, Dalen Smothers, Kevin Gilliam. A couple dudes we would have liked to keep, but I don't think anyone on that list was going to be a starter or even get major playing time, except maybe Walker or Lawrence. Even so, both of those position groups are stacked and full of young and emerging talent. So, best of luck to everyone looking for greener pastures. As long as you're not going to a rival, we're hoping for the best for all of you guys. Now, we did through the portal add a couple players. Spencer Brown, the offensive lineman from Michigan State. He started all 12 games for the Spartans this season and has 1 year of eligibility left. Not sure if he's going to be a starter or not, but at minimum, he will be good depth for that offensive line that is definitely in transition. Sooners also added defensive back Des Malone from San Diego State. He has 2 years of eligibility left. And as previously mentioned, he's heading into a stacked position group. But in 2023, the Sooners' defensive backfield got absolutely decimated by injuries. So depth is a very good thing to have, especially in that defensive backfield. I don't know if you remember when we mentioned that both Danny Stutsman and Billy Bowman would be back for their senior years. It was so long ago, but just had to bring it back up because we love that news. We did lose a couple of linemen to the NFL draft. Both Tyler Guyton and Andrew Rame are taking their talents to the NFL. They will be on a long list of former Sooner offensive linemen that will be on NFL rosters next season. Best of luck to those guys moving forward. With the transition to the SEC coming up and even the Alamo Bowl, I am a little worried about the offensive line getting the young guys and the other linemen up to speed, especially since we're running out of time for this bowl game and what's in store come September. But I have 100% confidence in Bill Beatembo and Schmitty to get the 2024 unit up to speed. 23, it took a little bit longer, lots of shuffling, but by the end of the season, I felt like those guys were playing pretty good football. So, like I said, completely trust the brain trust that will get those guys up and running. Speaking of 2024, on Wednesday, December 13th, we get the official SEC schedule for 2024. Oh, baby, it is going to be massive. We already know it is chock full of some sick games. But on Wednesday, we find out when those games take place. That is going to be good. It's going to have Sooner Nation buzzing. I cannot wait. Oh, it's going to be so good next season. It's so far away right now, but it is going to be great. Also, early signing day is just around the corner, December 20th. So Sooner State of Mind, we'll have you dialed in for that. Just make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts so you do not miss any of the good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, the College Football Awards were handed out last week. The Heisman Trophy winner for 2023 was LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. Did have an incredible season, over 3,800 pass yards, 40 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, rushing for 8.4 a carry, over 1,100 yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns. It's pretty good, but those Tigers did lose 3 games. Now, personally, I thought I saw the Heisman moment last week in the Pac-12 championship when Michael Penix Jr. threw the game-winning touchdown. On the season, 4,200 pass yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Shockingly, though, negative 18 rush yards on the year. And I actually don't have a problem with Daniels winning the Heisman Trophy. He had an incredible season. But to me, Penix was the best player in the biggest moments all season long. Huskies undefeated. Tigers with 3 losses. So to me, can't really bitch about it, but Penix was just on another level, the best player, I thought. And I guess that is why Penix did win the Maxwell Award for Player of the Year. So some consolation in that. I am, though, still shocked by my man Billy Bowman that he wasn't at least a finalist for the Thorpe Award. It's just crazy talk, people. But bright side, glass half full. Maybe him getting snuffed out on that helped bring him back to his final season. And if that's the case, I'm cool with the snub. Hopefully he takes it out on opposing offenses all next year. And it was also pretty cool to see Mike Leach earn the NCFAA Contributions to College Football Award. Man, I would have loved to hear his acceptance speech for that. You know, it would have been typical Leach, and it would have been quite the listen. Speaking of Red Raiders, Bowl Week starts this weekend. It's Texas Tech versus the California Golden Bears in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Nothing says prestige and tradition like Radiance Technologies. But nonetheless, it is one of 6 games this Saturday that help kick off Bowl Week. Week being used very loosely. I am not complaining, though. The more college football, the more better. Throw in an NFL triple header on Saturday. Makes for a pretty good day of football. Now, we are just a little under 3 weeks away from our bowl game, the Alamo Bowl, our Oklahoma Sooners versus the Arizona Wildcats. We still have a little more work to do before we get into bowl prep for that one. And as we run out of Sooner games, we will still follow the college football playoffs and all the bowl action up and through the national championship game, as well as following our Sooners in the NFL. Speaking of our Sooners in the NFL, Baker and the boys, those Bucks, have a huge game next week versus the Green Bay Packers. Ooh. Bake coming off a great road win versus the Falcons to stay alive in the race for the NFC South and actually sneaking into a possibility of a wild card. But that coveted spot in the playoffs, however they get in, is what all those teams are fighting for. And it is going to be a great final month of the NFL season. A ton of Sooners on these teams fighting for playoff spots. And we will follow that journey up into the Super Bowl as well. But up next will be early signing day. That is just over a week away, people. And we will get you dialed in on all of our Sooner commitments. These cats getting in early enrollees getting right in on the program, showing that desire to be part of this thing. Oh, baby, next year is going to look so different. New conference, new foes, 12-team playoff. How sweet is that going to be? If you're not one of these top 4 and you're one of the bottom 8 and you're one of those teams that gets to host a playoff game, can you imagine one of the first ever college playoff games on a team's home turf? Can you imagine the party? Oh, baby, at the Palace next year. I mean, I'll take one of those top 4 seeds, but if we get to host a game, watch out because it is going to be bananas. 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 Go ahead and head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows. Type in Sooner State of Mind. You're locked, my friends. It is just that easy. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Believe.com. If you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner state of mind.